Buying an item is easy, but getting a financing is very difficult, and it should not be that case. One important anecdote I will just mention to you, which is important, that I clearly remember that one thing Pankaj and Rohit, you said to me, Tushar, promise me one thing, you're not going to sell the company for $200 million. Yeah. You remember that?
He listened to the story of your company, and the first question he had was, when are they coming to Europe?
Yeah. AI will change the landscape. It's a pivotal moment around it, and AI needs to be incorporated in every aspect of the processes, how you think, how the new form of business, and you have to pivot. It will be a slow journey, but I think AI will be the part of this system. We're just getting started. The thing is that, can we deliver on the promise which we started? The promise is simple. Can we distribute credit? Can we build the rails where credit can be distributed responsibly at scale?
Building on that, Pankaj and Rohit from BII sit down with Tushar in this episode to unpack how his vision is taking shape and what it means for the future of fintech.
Tushar, first of all, welcome to Brunch Labs. It's great to finally have you here. As you know, our love for food and hence Brunch Labs, and we hope to serve everyone an appetizer, main course and a dessert. And to begin with the appetizer, would love to start with your journey, how you came to starting Skeps, what's been your personal motivation behind this?
Absolutely, and thank you Rohit and Pankaj for inviting me. And I wouldn't have expected anything less, knowing you guys for
We've
so
had
many.
a lot of food experiences.
Yeah.
That's what and I will cover that up.
Yes,
Trust me.
please. We have to talk about that.
Yeah. No, look, it has been a journey. Look, where we started was a very simple problem statement, that point of sale financing, like when you're going to buy a sofa or a furniture or a home improvement loan, buying an item is easy, but getting a financing is very difficult. And it should not be that case. So that was the idea, that it should not be that case. So then we said, okay, let's just go into it and simplify it. It's easy. But once we get into it, we said that point of sale financing was more broken than it looked. Merchants were frustrated. Banks don't trust. And consumers were stuck in the middle. We said, okay, so then let's remove the friction, because everyone wants to do business, and let's just remove the friction. So that is how it's all started.
And you experienced this as a customer, or can you share something around that? You were already in the industry. This was an industry experience or a customer experience?
Look, it was both, because like before starting Skeps, I was a career consultant in the financial services space. So I was inside the banks, and we were hearing the noise from the merchants that we want to do this or do that. So we go and do experiences that where we were falling short of the experience which the merchant was asking, and bank was not able to deliver it. So we were aware of the problem statement, but inside the bank it was not that visible, because you were already in a cocoon ecosystem and it's a biased ecosystem. So aware of the noise, but not to the extent of the problem. So once I go outside of the ecosystem, it becomes very visible.
And this was a India topic or US topic, or and just talk a little bit about where you saw this problem.
Look, that's where my personal bias is, because I was always in US. Like when I started a career, like after 2 years, I moved to US. I was working with the US client. For me, the problem was US specific.
Okay.
But when you looked at it, it's a very generic problem statement.
It's a global problem.
It's a global problem, like, no doubt about it.
And that's been our experience as well, right? So our own story over here is very much driven by what we saw in India, and we will come to that. And Tushar, what was the exact genesis? When did you start this company?
Late 2017.
Late 2017. And I know you started this with your brother Prerit. And what was your initial experience? I know that we have been in touch for a very long time, but would love to know how were the early years. This is your first venture. How were the initial years for you?
So look, so yes, I started with this with my brother. This was the first, but we tried a couple of startups before, me and Prerit. Not successful. Like we could not take it even to the first seed funding stage, but we spent a lot of time there.
Okay.
So we got a lot of learnings around it, that what you should do and what you should not do, and what you should not wait for. So one thing we were very clear, that if the market likes the product and if they like the idea, the investment should come. and that's the right platform. So this time that was one of the genesis, that when we said, okay, start, we will create an idea and we'll try to get the investment up front, because if the market doesn't validate the idea, then maybe we have to further fine tune the idea around it. So this time we got, like, yes, the problem statement was so visible that we got a seed investment from Axel game. But then what happened also is that, yes, the seed investment was required for us to go all in and start the problem. But one thing which I will just make sure that probably Bertelsmann is the investor where we talked the longest. And 18 months, if I recall, it was 18 months, and it was just conversations.
It was very interesting. We have a longer indirect courtship because of our mutual friend Prank from Axel.
I think that, yeah, that's a good point.
Because we would share, updates about each other portfolio, and I have known about Skeps much before those 18 months of conversation.
No, that helps, because and that's why this journey was very unique, because, and again, I'm just saying that you guys were the only investors where we did that way. 18 months, just conversations, like no pressure, no commitment, like, okay. And these, sometimes we also feel that every 3 months you have an update. Sometimes you make progress, sometimes it's just clarity, okay, that what are you guys doing? One important anecdote I will just mention to you, like, which is important, that I clearly remember that one thing, Pankaj and Rohit, you said to me, Tushar, promise me one thing, you're not going to sell the company for $200 million. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And it's interesting because 6 months, like starting Skeps 6 months into the journey, I had an offer when we created an idea product that I was offered $20 million by a corporate, like, can you come in? And the immediate question to me was, okay, but what next? What do I do Monday morning now?
Yeah.
So this, that's why, like, so this was very clear to me that Bertelsmann focus on building something enduring versus flipping over.
Yeah.
It genuinely aligned where I was there mentally at that time.
No, I totally remember that conversation. In fact, see, it also comes from the fact that we understand that while we want to build great, large, enduring businesses, and so do founders, but sometimes money, different people have different relationship with money, right? And you don't know, like, it's hard to say no to life-changing capital, right? And that alignment is pretty important. And remember that conversation, by the way, very, very clearly. And I remember your response as well. And I think that alignment is something that we look for.
You didn't believe me. You went to my board member.
I had to check with them also that they are not looking for a smaller outcome.
No, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I think the problem statement that you were building the business for, when we started kind of understanding that problem statement, and you just mentioned in the beginning of the podcast, that's a global problem. In our minds, we were like, okay, first of all, we are trying to build that in the US market. US market per se is the largest market in the world, and building a very sizable business over there will take time, will take money. But if built, then it will be extremely large, enduring and valuable. But then the story doesn't end there. Then we go into other countries which have similar problems. Because of our partners, lenders, merchants, etc., we will have the concept of cross-pollination, etc. And if we look at Bertelsmann's own history of 200 years, that's how the group has grown and become global. So we actually took inspiration from our LPs, Bertelsmann, and said, if they have survived for 200 years, can you survive for 20?
No, very well said, Pankaj, and very well said. And look, and that's why, like, those 18 months, like, you guys were focused on the unsexy part of the business. Like, okay, show me the complex infrastructure you guys build. Like, people don't want to invest time in that one complex.
In fact, this 18-month conversation that you're mentioning, I don't know if you recall, we actually came in with a pretty strong view on this market. Because we were driven by our thesis in this particular case, right? So we were looking for this business in India. Pankaj and I had been searching for this for a long time. It is so interesting that we came across Skeps, who was building this for US, and we actually, that is when we expanded our search globally, and we figured that this is a global problem. It's not solved in US at all. And in fact, even the check that we ended up writing, it was more on the early side of things, when, it's earlier than when we typically enter. And that 18-month conversation was there because we felt so strongly that this is a model that is needed, in every geography. And there is, and Skeps is building it the right way. And we kept in touch. and we were super excited actually to do that transaction then, right? We typically would not have done, especially somebody building for US with a consumerish touch, on the merchant side. It's a market a little far away from us, but we walked in with a lot of conviction into this one, and it has panned out.
I have to kind of give another example over here, another story over here. I don't know, Rohit, whether you remember this or not, but we had an IC conversation, right? And generally, our IC conversations, of course, very supportive of the kind of investments Bertelsmann or BII wants to do. But in this specific case, we had Rolf Hellerman in the IC conversation, and he at that time used to run our financial services business globally at Bertelsmann, where Europe, of course, is a big part. And he listened to the story of your company, and the first question he had was, when are they coming to Europe?
Yeah.
So, and we were like, wait, let us first build that out in US. Once we build that in US, we will come to Europe, and we will work with, we'll find ways to, for Skeps to work with you guys if it makes sense, and build a much bigger global platform. And as you kind of build the US business, I do hope at some point we take you to other countries as well. And I think you're already thinking of doing some, and we'll talk about it later.
I keep giving him pain about India as well.
Yeah, in India is good and small, but let's go to other developed countries where there might be slightly more appreciation for the product. But I think both our LPs at Bertelsmann as well as BI as a fund, we were very clear that this problem statement exists. It's a complex problem statement. If somebody ends up solving it, it'll be massive and great.
And Tushar, while speaking about this, you just heard about our initial, interactions and impressions. What was going on from your side? At the time of that fundraise, were you speaking to others? Did you end up doing, diligence on us? What made the decision easy or difficult for you?
Yeah, so two things. One is, look, yes, somebody taking a patience, like exactly on the same line, that somebody taking a patience to understand the complex nature of the architecture you're developing. Second is appreciating it. Second is understanding that these will be long enterprise sales cycle. You are going into a B2B sales cycle. You're talking about enterprise long sales cycle, and fully understanding that that speed will not come at a cost of integrity and trust around it, right? So those are very fundamental things which we knew walking into it. So that alignment was very interesting. It looks like a natural fit. Because, and that's why when we formalize, and I agree with you, like when we formalize even the documentation due diligence, it all looks like formalizing a partnership rather than picking an investor and we are walking into something. So it came very naturally around it, and again, having those things that we are completely aligned. So during this process also, if you have ups and downs and things are changing, there was not any issues around it. Yeah. So it was very smooth process, I will just say, and that has continued so far.
Absolutely. And I remember, Pankaj, now we have led around in your company twice.
Yep.
As part of both the processes, we have spoken to your customers, right? And I always have my teammates in both the cases coming to me and saying, why are we putting this much? Why don't we put double or triple the amount? So the amount of, again, going back to, our product market fit and the need and the pull for this product is unbelievable. And that was great to see. I still wonder actually why didn't we put more, but we'll probably solve for that. And then how has been the journey? Maybe Tushar, you can walk us through how has the life been, last 2-3 years we have had capital. How has the journey been, your ups and downs, and
Also, what is it that you're building and why is that so valuable?
Absolutely. So look, tying back to that, if you want to remove the friction in the process and the process is broken, so then what we are building is, we are building simply a rails where credit can flow or customer can get the credit instantly. It should be easy, trustworthy, and accessible that way. Now, this credit is flowing across an ecosystem. You have banks or fintech players on the other side. You have the merchants who are the distributors of it, and you have the end borrowers. So it's a complex ecosystem that way. So what we are building is very simple, that can we remove the friction, can we establish trust in the process, and can we enable relationship in the process. So that's one. Now, the good part is exactly because you are in the relationship, because you're enabling enterprises to work more smoothly, generate revenue. You become an integral part of it, and you have to perform at the highest level. So you are right, throughout our journey, one thing which kept us going, even though we have a small number of clients, in the initial phase, the clients were extremely happy, and that was reflective on that. They talk very highly about it, and that's a big thing. Like, it doesn't translate really literally into the revenue number, but it gives you a motivation that why you exist around it when you get that kind of an appreciation. So that was good. So that one. Second is, we also saw, like, initially the people were excited about the technology, that a lot of people asked for exclusivity in the contracts and all, which we have to navigate being a small company and the bargaining around it. So, but that also speaks on the backside that it's a good product out there. Now we are transitioning into, so we have established Skeps in the early part of the journey. You are establishing yourself as a trust factor in the industry, that you are the solution to the problem. Now we are into the phase where, yes, people are recognizing that this is the platform we should use. Now we are more into that, okay, whatever the trust we've established, can we deliver at a scale? So now we are going from a point of phase where we said, okay, build and trust has been established. Now can we deliver it at a scale? So the problem statement has changed. So that's the next few years looks like. And again, I think, thank you for your partnership. Like, we are well capitalized, and that's the mission.
If I may ask you, actually, every venture starts with a hypothesis, right? Was there a particular moment in time when you felt like, that this was real and this can be really big? Like, was there any particular moment or two that you can recall around this?
Absolutely. Like, when one of the big national bank in US says that we want to use your technology to make the credit flow live, big moment. That's where we realized that we have arrived at the stage, at least. Just the transaction flow, big endurance.
What's the biggest challenge that you've gone through over the past few years as you build Skeps?
Like, biggest challenge is with the enterprise clients, that you don't control all parts of the aspects, and you have to build that control over a period of time. Because you start with one spoke in an ecosystem, and yes, you have a vision to have a slightly broader role to play, but you don't start on day one with that broader role in it. So you have to earn your right. But until you are just one spoke or two spoke, you have very less control over controlling the outcome of it. And that's the biggest challenge, that in the journey, can we have done the things faster, quicker, had we had more control? Absolutely, yes. But we have to learn that you have to earn that over a period of time.
And on the point of patience and macro factors, I remember, one of the toughest situations that we have had to go through, post our fundraise as well, is the whole macro environment in US changing, the ZERP era going away, and our partners also a little bit struggling at some point. And that was a phase, I think, that we navigated, like looking in hindsight, quite brilliantly. Can you walk us through like how that period was, what was going on?
Yeah, look, absolutely. We have the clarity on the end side of it, that what we are trying to do. Because first of all, you have to say that the problem statement, what Pankaj says, is global, it's universal. So if the problem statement is true, then now you have to identify the right partners around the way where you want to work with them. And so, yeah, so so we keep on following that process around it. We started with the fintechs because banks are not on the day one a bank will sign you. So we started with the fintech, which are easier to work with. We earned our right to the bank. Then banks gives you a lot of other stuff, but then they move slow. Then we said that, okay, there are a lot of other private credit money and things are coming around, so you just keep on following or navigating the maze with what is right at that point in time, while still keeping your North Star in your view. And it's a navigation around it, and we feel very proud how we've achieved that. One thing which I will also like mention, like on the other side of it, because you mentioned food, like there's one unique thing about Pankaj which I want to bring, that because knowing him for so many years, that no matter how serious a conversation is, it somehow foods gets involved. I absolutely almost all our meetings with Pankaj, where I've learned about entrepreneurship, fintech, scale, is over some amazing foods. Never at the boardroom with Pankaj.
That is true. This is the hard truth that I'm also learning. Yeah, no matter how hard I try to close a deal, Pankaj is the deal clincher, right? I put a founder in front of Pankaj and he clinches it over food.
So that's
food.
now become food is important.
With food,
food is important.
This has become the mantra.
We've had pretty amazing times here. Obviously, we are all, working behind a certain vision and a mission that you have and your team has. But for us, the journey matters a lot also, right? At the end of the day, it's a 10-year journey, if not longer, for all of us. And if we can't have fun while going through that journey, then we're missing out on something. And whether it's the nice meals that we've had at Milo's, now multiple ones. The fish over there is pretty awesome. We like it.
Your
And
Greek restaurant,
the
which you
Greek
don't
restaurant, yeah, that one, the Louis,
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing. So yeah, so going to New York and spending time, Tushar, with you, with Oman and the team, and then together going and having some nice meals are very fond memories that we have from all the meetings that we've had. But also at the same time, going deep into your business and actually appreciating the complex work that you guys do is very satisfying. So I may say that every time I spend 5-6 hours, and most of our sessions are what, 5-6 hours long. We always spend 5-6 hours, right? We don't believe in 1 hour or 2 hour meetings. In 1 or 2 hours, we'll not even know what the hell is happening in the company, right? So it has to be some 5-6 hour long meetings. And the more we kind of spend time, the more I realize how much plumbing you have done and what kind of complex systems you have built in order to build these rails. So that's, I think, one aspect. And the second aspect is, as we kind of dive deep into the topics, we realize how large the market opportunity is, and at so many places it can fit, that we are just scratching the surface. So the question I have for you is, while I'm sure you're not selling it for 200 million dollars now. I'll not let you sell this for 200 to $2 billion also. I hope we are aligned there. I want to capture this on
Capture
camera.
this on camera.
We're not selling at 2 billion also. We're building a much longer, enrolling, strong company.
No, I couldn't agree more. Like Pankaj, like look, I agree with you. Like last 7-8 years has been all built around it, and the complexity is very obvious. But look, this is what it takes to provide that simplicity to the end market, that where we can absorb the complexity, and we are very proud that we are now able to offer that simplicity in the market. And to your point, I completely believe that now we are just getting started in that phase. And I want to run that journey again with a fresh mind, that now we have a simple product out there, absorbing all the complexity with all the investment which we have made together in this company. This is a very hopefully I'm very much looking forward to the next version of this ride.
Tell me something. You are a unique company where you have a office in New York and you have one in India. Was navigating two different offices, two different time zones difficult for you guys?
It's a challenging thing, and I will tell you a couple of challenges which are very real. Time zones are very real. Uh, Overlap times are small and as you can see that these are complex discussions which requires long hours of conversation. So overlap becomes a restriction. And also not only we have different offices, we have also a very different profile of the people. Like the people in the US office are very, very senior executives from banks and from the merchant sites around.
Doing all the sales and BD.
Sales and BD and the vision alignment and all the things. And then you have a very, very young workforce which is actually building the
Product and tech.
under the guidance of this. So it's a right amalgamation of like where you're getting the right guidance and visions at a scale, and a young team which is excited and motivated to deliver it. It was slightly easier for me because of our consulting background, because I have been always part, even in my consulting days, we used to deliver through this onshore offshore model. And the only key is the communication. So you are right, like if your call communications are limited, you cannot do whiteboarding. You have to be very precise is your email communications, the documentations, so that the teams are synced. One credit which I have to give is that it's amazing how that young talent knows about US ecosystem, because that was one concern I had, that building a system, you have to live the system. Like here you can go into Bajaj, you can go to the Bajaj finance experience and see how that lending. You can go to credit experience and understand how credit card is. But you're not signing up for an American Express and Wells Fargo and Green Sky product. But it's just sheer, like I'm amazed by the talent pool in India, that the ability for them to pick up and understand that how does the US system work. It's phenomenal. I don't have to do much work there.
Super. And maybe touch upon on how has the partnership with Bertelsmann been, over the last now 4 years. We came in 2021.
Yeah, 2021 around. No, look, as I said.
How nagging have I been?
Yeah, no, look, that's a, nah. So first of all, like, look, Pankaj is always calm, bring long-term lens. Like you
I
just
don't
see in
like
this
where
meeting,
it's headed.
yeah, you just see in this meeting also, like global footprints, how we go and how we scale up, like longer-term lens, and which is right, and we love that. Like he just pushes us to think. eh. While on the other hand, Rohit is like a lot of questions. So initially we started our meetings with Rohit like half an hour, and so Rohit says this doesn't even work for me. I barely get warm up, and then the meeting ends. Like, give me 2-3 hours format. I said okay, we will fit that up. So, but Rohit, but the thing is that the questions help you to sharpen. Joke aside, that it helps you to sharpen your positioning, rethink your criticality, and it's right. Like he's coming from an outsider, and he's just pushing me that Tushar, just look, have you covered all corners? Have you looked at all the dark spots on your side? And it helps. Like you may not have the answer, but it helps you to think backward. So it's a very, I enjoy this relationships, very, very powerful combination. No, so that's why like
So now you have officially said it, so it's not going to stop anytime soon.
it's, I know I truly welcome that. I truly welcome that. It has made us better over the years because you need that perspective around it.
So we love these engaging conversations as much as it helps us understand your business. We take so much out of these. It shapes our thinking over the years. It makes us, I hope so, better decision makers, and it helps us to take some of these learnings and help other founders with it. And hopefully we bring some of that to you as well. So we enjoy this, and as we speak, we have a 3-hour block for tomorrow. No? Yeah. What else?
Yeah, I think you know talking about some of the technological shifts that are happening. When we invested in you, you had yeah. Please, by the way, yeah.
No,
This is
I'm
all
good.
for
Yeah,
eating.
yeah.
Yeah, not
This looks very tempting,
Yeah,
so-
yeah. Please have them. And by the way, the crackers are pretty awesome. Huh? So we should try the crackers. When we invested in you at that time, blockchain was a big topic, and what we realized was you had built your business using blockchain, and now we don't hear blockchain, we hear AI. Is blockchain dead?
Answer is no, Pankaj. This is my view around it, and you can see like again like what U.S. government is doing. Like you can see like all the things. Like I know not just crypto. I know blockchain got very up with the cryptocurrency, and then it crashed because of the crypto. But I don't think anybody disagrees that the basic foundation building blocks of blockchain adds a lot of value in the ecosystem. And I think whether in form of stable coins or US currency, how to bring the immovable assets into the ecosystem, I think blockchain will play a big role that way.
And you continue to be backed on your entire infrastructure. A lot of it is built on blockchain, plus a lot of workflow management and so on.
Absolutely, because as I said, that one of the fundamental things when we're designing that the credit will flow, trust was a very important factor in that money flow went on.
Right.
And blockchain by design is a technology which enabled trust in the ecosystem in a very cost-effective way. So it's a very natural fit, and I still like it is a part of our core infrastructure. The reason you hear less about it is because, as I said, that we are moving towards a phase where we don't need to expose the complexity of our system to the outside world.
Right.
And we want to expose the simplicity of the problem statement which we are solving. So that's it. But it is very
And then
much
what's next on the technological frontier for you guys?
technology. Front, AI is definitely there. Like you cannot truly humble that AI will change the landscape. It's a pivotal moment around it, and AI needs to be incorporated in every aspects of the processes, how you think, how the new form of business, and you have to give it. It will be a slow journey, but I think AI will be the part of this system.
Tushar, now if we look at future, how would you define success for yourself and for Skeps?
As I said, we're just getting started. The thing is that can we deliver on the promise which we started? The promise is simple. Can we distribute credit? Can we build the rails where credit can be distributed responsibly at a scale? Both are important. Responsibilities is important because you don't want any scale. If we can do that, I think everything else will follows, and that's what the success would look like for our company. That can we deliver on that promise where we started?
So as an investor, I can put a number to it: multi-billion-dollar revenue and global domination.
Look, that's what we are aiming for. That's what we are aiming for.
I would put a slightly different lens to that answer, Rohit. And one of the things that we keep debating internally, of course, is that what Visa and MasterCard did for the payment system we are trying to do for the lending system. And we've seen how successful Visa and MasterCard are as enterprise, as rails companies. Would that be a success metric for you, that we want to be the Visa, MasterCard of the lending ecosystem, starting with the US and then moving on?
Absolutely.
Or do you think that's a wrong comparison?
No, Pankaj, I think you are dead right on that comparison. That again, that's exactly the terminology we are using. We are the credit rails to distribute credit at scale, and more importantly, when the consumer need it at that moment in their purchase journey. So it's a right comparison and right tooling. Now, like we are humble enough not to compare ourselves to Visa, MasterCard at this point, but yes, that's what the North Star we are aiming for.
No, wonderful. No, we hope that we are able to build what we are aiming to kind of get, and we are very grateful that we are able to partner with you specifically, Prerit, as well as the Skeps team to build this. We are super excited to onboard the journey with you guys.
Same here. And I missed putting that it's great to see you in this attire, right? I don't think I've ever seen you without a blazer.
I knew it was coming somewhere around.
So for us, even I think we do most of our calls at around 5 p.m. India time, which is what, like 6:30 a.m. your time
Yeah,
in
6:30
New York. And Tushar is always in that one pose in front of the camera with his blazer on. I've never seen him otherwise, either in India and now over here as well. So this is, Tushar for me. Yeah.
Tushar.
I get it, and I call it my armor. Like if you're going into a battle, particularly with the banks,
Yeah.
it just helps you protect.
He keeps telling me, Rohit, you are an investor sitting in Gurgaon and Bangalore. I'm sitting right next to Wall Street. So this is how it needs to be.
This is how it needs to be.
Let's conclude this episode with a fun rapid fire segment. What do you think is Skeps' biggest strength as a company?
I think understanding very complex problems and putting together solutions that work within that setup.
One early belief that still shapes your decisions today.
Strength of the team.
One fintech founder mistake you see repeatedly.
I think using significant technology to solve for problems and not focusing on the finance part. Rohit and I fully believe on that. I think we've now said it multiple times with the founders.
What defines the perfect founder-VC relationship?
As Pankaj says, it's more like a marriage. You have to go through the highs and lows and stick together.
One metric you obsess over.
Conversion for our merchants.
One founder habit that signals long-term success.
I think ability to build a very strong team and keep building on the problem statement for a long period of time.
One misconception about point-of-sale financing you'd like to change?
That it is a payment, while we believe that it is more building trust and loyalty with the merchant ecosystem.
Why did we bet on Skeps?
It was a perfect match of a thesis and a pitch I've ever seen.
One term or phrase founders should stop using?
Up rounds?
What?
Up rounds.
Up rounds.
Up rounds, up rounds, up rounds.
Why should top fintech talent join Skeps?
Actually, hard problem, real impact, no hype.
And is that true for both US and India?
Correct.
Which sector trends are you most excited about today?
I think within the fintech space, I think in India, we're very excited about wealth as a topic. Disposable incomes are going up and people are becoming more wealthy. And so wealth management is very exciting. At the same time as India becomes a lot more aspirational, lending and related sectors also will pick up significantly.
What's the first thing you look for in a fintech startup?
The relation to the problem and the depth of understanding the customer's need.
BII's biggest strength as a partner.
Endurance.
One term or phrase you think founders should stop using.
Yeah, my personal pet peeve is, 1% of $1 trillion market is a very large market. I don't think that's how we should look at things.
A pitch deck pet peeve?
I don't like pitches where people don't have a presentation. Exactly unlike Rohit.
I can't go through a PPT.
What's the last thing you asked ChatGPT?
Find me a good eating joint in Gurgaon.